Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of the Lord of the Rings The Card Game Progression Series. My name is Mitch.
And my name is Matthew.
And today we attempt to transition past the halfway point of our first deluxe expansion, Khazad-dûm. This is the 7th level. When Matthew and I left off, we had breached the walls of Moria, the Black Pit, Khazad-dûm, the Dwarodelf, whatever your race of origin calls it. We've managed to bloody ourselves a few goblins in the process, but Matthew, where does our story bring us today?
Based on information from a dying goblin, the heroes have made their way to the 7th level of Moria, still searching for any signs of Balin's colony. The 7th level holds the Chamber of Records, and it is there that the goblins said they would find Balin. An ancient tome also seems to hold clues as to the whereabouts of the colony.
Well, it seems like maybe our intrepid adventurers aren't too terribly bright. We're still searching for dwarves, even though we've found this place infested by goblins, and it doesn't seem like there's anything non-Mordor left alive. But, as always, let's start today's scenario by taking a look at our player decks. Today I'm going to be running a 3-sphere deck, and I think this is a first for our series, but I'm actually going to be running quite a few different tactics cards. Kind of the name of the game today is getting my favorite combo online, which is Thalin plus Gondorian Spearman. Almost all of the enemies that we're going to be pitting ourselves against have like 2 HP at most. So Thalin wounds them, the Gondorian Spearman kind of follows up, skewers them, they don't reveal a shadow card, and we eliminate an enemy with saving ourselves some actions. We don't have to attack if we can just kill them with a defense, and of course the Spearman survives. So overall it's fantastic value. I'm using Barivore to expedite the rate at which I can either find my own copies of Gondorian Spearman, or since Matthew, as he normally does, is also playing tactics, he's got 3 copies of that ally in his deck as well. I've got Dane Ironfoot because in this scenario he's going to be holding an objective called the Book of Mazarbul, which is going to let him quest without exhausting, and therefore he can remain standing as a pretty much invincible defender today and contribute a couple of points of willpower to the quest. If we were to put that attachment on Barivore or something, for instance, even though she could still remain ready through the quest phase, if she were to use her ability during planning, you can't commit a character that's already exhausted to the quest. So Dane is pretty much as good a target as anyone for that. I've got Sneak Attack plus Longbeard Orc Slayer to serve as a bit of board removal if necessary, and apart from that, I'm just using a few tactics effects to augment characters in case we have to fight a big formidable cave troll, and then just lots of dwarf allies because the value is pretty much unrivaled. But, Matthew, I've said my piece. What can we expect from you today?
Well, we have a new hero for our series, and that is Boromir. Not a hero I've used a lot, so I'm excited to give him a whirl. And then our trusty Frodo and Gimli. As Mitch mentioned, it's super fun in this quest to use the Gondorian Spearman to put a damage on top of the damage Thalin likely put on the enemies, so hopefully between our 6 copies, we can see 1 or 2 hit the table. I also have, sort of the typical smattering of dwarves to get some benefits from Dane, and some eagles, because, of course, they belong in Moria. I have a bevy of attachments that will be fun, and quite a few events for this deck. It's actually more event-heavy than ally-heavy, which is different for me, so we will see how it works out, and hopefully it's enough to get us safely out of the 7th level.
Yeah, for once, Matthew is playing Spirit. I'm not. I'm running Tactics. He's running more Tactics than I am, so at least I guess you could say like proportion does matter. But that's pretty much that. We'll see how things go. We only have to worry about a few different treachery cards that can boost up threat. Not a lot of shadow effects to speak of, just because of hopefully that Gondorian Spearman skewering. Really, the worst thing we have to look out for is just undefended attacks resulting in additional damage. Or the occasional add an enemy to the staging area or bonus attack. But we've pretty much covered our decks. Why don't we go ahead and shuffle our player decks, draw our opening assortment of 6 cards, and then once that is said and done, we'll kind of figure out what this scenario is that we're up against. I'm not thrilled with my opening hand, but I do have that board clear combo, and kind of that alone, I'm tempted to hold on to it. But what are your thoughts on your hand, Matthew?
I think my hand is fairly good, so I will stick with it.
I can see at least one card in your hand that I'm awfully happy to see, and it makes me feel much better about taking mine. And actually, the more I think about it, your hand is pretty gold, so
yeah.
All right, I guess let's go ahead and get things started. Assessing Quest Card 1A. Note that this is just a 2 quest card affair. You are investigating the 7th level of Moria, searching for the Chamber of Records and any sign of Balin's colony. In the heavy twilight of a hall, a bulky tome is discovered in the grip of a dwarf skeleton. You carefully take possession of the book. Perhaps it will give you some answers. So we search the encounter deck for the Book of Mazarbul. We have the first player attach it to a hero of his choice and then shuffle the encounter deck. Octagon's already put this on the table for us. It's restricted and unique, which is noteworthy. We can basically ignore the action unless its attached hero is killed. The attached hero cannot attack, but more importantly, does not exhaust to commit to a quest. It's like the map from Escape from Dol Guldur. So I've already got control of that. I'm going to go ahead and send that to the back, attached to Dane Ironfoot, so he can do some awesome defending and questing for us. But with that said, let's go ahead and shuffle our encounter deck. We'll flip quest card 1A to 1B. 15 quest points. The dwarven runes of the book appear to hold a detailed record of the fledgling colony, but there is some elvish script at the end which seems out of place. And wouldn't you know it, Matthew and I are ambushed, reveal 1 encounter card per player, and add it to the staging area. So nothing too terribly unique here, but what are we up against? Encounter card number 1 is, god damn it, Watchful Eyes. The first player attaches this to a hero. If the attached hero is exhausted at the end of combat. I think, should I just put this on Dane Ironfoot?
He is a pretty good candidate.
All right, I guess we can have him do something and still remain unexhausted. No threat for this treachery here. Encounter card number 2 is, oh wow, so Orc Hornblower. This is a 1-copy card, 2 threat, Surge, and when revealed, reveal 1 card from the encounter deck and add it to the staging area.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that pretty much sucks. Kind of the worst time to draw this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see, is Surge before when revealed?
I believe so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too terribly much.
I don't think so.
But this kind of bites, because this is a 2
HP
enemy. Goblin Spearman, it's a 2/2/2/2. It's going to engage with us. It gets an attack bonus if the attack is undefended. And whether it's the Surge or the When Revealed, each player must deal X damage to an ally he controls. X is the number of allies he controls. So that's a big fat 0.
Yeah.
And that is going to whiff. So I guess that's that. That could have been much worse. We're up against 4 threat. We're going to be revealing on average 3.4 threat each turn. We won't have to worry about the Hornblower anytime soon, but let's get things started with our first resource phase. and I will draw one card. I came across a copy of our favorite Istari. Again, I've got a copy of Sneak Attack for that. So far as what to play, I think I'm going to save all of my resources. I've got some allies that I can play the following round. How about you, Matthew?
I will put out our Gondorian Spearman.
Fantastic. So
that's it for me.
Bit of a shame that we can't skewer this Spearman quite yet.
I know.
But threat isn't really an issue. You've got Boromir. I guess worst case scenario is you could even use his action to eliminate pretty much every enemy engaged with you. Okay, for questing, I'm going to go ahead and do Dane and Thalon, which is 4. I think it's likely that we're going to be pulling enemies, but the Spearman will be able to handle 1. Your Spearman, sorry. This Goblin Spearman, I'm not sure how exactly we want to deal with him. Gimli, it's a little frightening to do an undefended attack with him since we don't have shadow cancellation. But I guess in case of a disaster, I can do the sneak attack thing. Are you sure that you want to send Boromir? I guess just...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. He can always ready himself.
Sure. All right.
And I have, a couple of ways to reduce my threat in my hand, so I should be fine.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. All right. So let's...
Every once in a while I read the cards.
At least one of us does. So, encounter card number 1.
No!
Let's see. Limit 1 per hero, which is a bummer.
That is unfortunate.
Otherwise, I would just pick Dane again. I guess since we've already got our combo online, I could do... Gosh, I guess Barivor versus Thalon, just because as much as I want that card draw, I definitely want to be sending Thalon every single time. Encounter card number 2. Ouch.
Oh my.
Cave Troll. Yeah. So 4 threat, 4 defense, 7 hit points. I guess it's nice that we've got Gandalf. And this is kind of similar to Trample from Magic the Gathering. Each individual excess point of combat damage dealt beyond the hit points of the character damaged by its attack, you have to damage another character you control. This was kind of an early rules quandary, but I think it's each individual point has to be assigned like 1 at a time. So you can't just dump 5 onto a snowborn scout or something. So that's pretty nasty, but that is what we're up against. It's 8 threat. We've sent 7 to the quest.
Now don't forget his damage.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me, speaking of reading the cards. Nice that gets around that 4 defense. I suppose we don't have any... option but to just boost our threat by 1 for failing the quest.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, but not that big of a deal. And I suppose we'll just have to kind of think. I guess there's certainly a lot of options. Like, you could take the Cave Troll, you could defend with, like, the Spearman, he could absorb 2, you could drop 4 damage on Gimli, Gimli could swing for 6, Boromir could make that 9, and then that would almost kill the Cave Troll, but we don't have to deal with it quite yet.
No, and I have quite a bit of attack power in my hand, and so it would make it a little bit easier a round or 2 from now.
Sure. Alrighty.
So I will certainly take the Goblin Spearman.
Great. So, skip travel, engagement. The Spearman goes to you. We'll leave the rest sitting in the staging area as a helicopter adds its sound to our series here. Let's do a shadow card for the Spearman.
Okay.
And how do you want to deal with this guy?
I really don't want to kill my Gondorian Spearman, so I will defend with Gimli.
And I guess Boromir... Well, Boromir plus the Spearman. Doesn't really matter one way or the other.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So the Spearman, thankfully, does not add another enemy to the staging area. No damage dealt to Gimli.
I will raise my threat to ready Boromir.
Great. All right.
And I guess I could discard him. That'd be kind of fun. But I will just use him and my Gondorian Spearman to attack.
Sure. So 4 damage results in a dead Goblin Spearman and a deleted shadow card. And I suppose that's that. So that brings us to the end of the round. Refresh. I'll transfer the first player token to you. Resource phase. Do our resources. I drew a Song of Battle. And looks like you got something I'm pretty happy to see.
Yeah.
And you're the first player.
Yeah. So the question is, would another spearman be helpful, or do we want some eagle friends?
Well, I guess the cave troll is potentially going to be engaging with us really quickly. I've got my wizard.
Let me play it a little safer. I'll do 2 eagle friends. Again, they belong in Moria. It's their birthplace.
Okay.
And then...
And I guess worth noting, I've also got a Khazad. I don't know if that influences your choice at all.
Nah, not really. And then the other question is whether I want to put Unexpected Courage on the table.
You know, all things equal, it probably is the more cautious approach to go with another spearman, just because if we reveal, like, there are 5 goblin spearmen, 5 goblin swordsmen in the deck, not counting the one that we've already killed, and if you can just completely lock that down for the remainder of today's game, that's pretty fantastic.
Okay, we'll go with that, and then eagles, just the guy will have to come down next turn, and I can play my eagles then, hopefully.
Sure.
So the question is, should I play an Unexpected Courage on anyone? Could put it on Bearivore to get her card draw and not suffer the ill effects.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
It would probably be nice for you to get some of your Miners of the Iron Hills.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in the case of an absolute disaster, I could do Sneak Attack Gandalf, hit the cave troll, defend against the cave troll, and even if I couldn't kill it outright, one of us could probably do like a dry cast Gandalf later on, or use vassals or something.
Yeah.
So I don't. I guess I don't really know.
I'll hold on to it then.
Sure.
Just because it could give me enough to pay for Gandalf next turn.
Yeah. Right.
If I needed to, if there's some sort of who knows what comes out emergency.
Right.
So since, I'll hold on to it and maybe I could just play it next turn.
Okay. And I guess the only other kind of nice thing about that is we're really riding the line for this cave troll engaging with us.
Yeah.
So I guess my thought was Unexpected Courage could also be an additional 2 points of willpower. But I'm not... I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of have to see what comes off the encounter deck. I would not be surprised if the cave troll engages with us. I think I'm going to do... I suppose, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I want to do 2 resources for a Winged Guardian just to defend against most of the cave troll if we need to. I could do a Snowborn Scout. I think I want to wait until there's a location out.
Okay.
I could do a Dwarf that can bounce an attachment to hand. That doesn't serve any effect yet. No. But at the same time, it's 2 willpower. So I think I maybe want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll do Erebor Hammersmith. Its ability will whiff, but that's some willpower for us. Okay. So I guess that's going to bring us to questing. Who do you want to commit?
I'll send my same 3.
All right. I was expecting you to do 3 characters. I was confused for a sec. All right. For me, I will do Dane, I will do the Erebor Hammersmith, and I will do Thalon. So a grand total of 6 from 3 dwarves. Not bad in our just past the core set context here. Grand total of 9. We're up against 6, but let's see. Maybe we'll luck out on treacheries. Who knows? Encounter card number 1 is going to be Goblin Scout. So this is 3 HP, but I do have that Orc Slayer if need be.
3 threat, yeah.
Encounter card number 2 is going to be a goblin swordsman.
Okay.
So that is 4, 8, 9, 10. We'd be boosting our threat by 1, which means that the cave troll engages, but that's not really that frightening. So should I just save the Orc Slayer, I suppose? I think I should.
I mean, I suppose you could sneak attack Gandalf on the Hornblower, nuke that thing, and then maybe... I wish Gandalf had Sentinel, because then you could, like, defend the cave troll for me or something, and I could wail on him, but
yeah,
that's not going to happen. But if we didn't want to take the cave troll this turn and actually end up making 1 progress, you could nuke the Hornblower.
I think that's kind of a waste, just considering what the Orc Slayer can do during Quest Phase 2B, when there's kind of a big explosion of enemies out of the encounter deck, and then I could just kind of nuke them all at once. So I think I'll just maybe play Gandalf this next turn.
Sure, but with the rate you're spending leadership resources anyway...
Well,
you'd have 4 saved up.
You know what you could do is, because I forgot that my Winged Guardian has Sentinel, you could engage with the Cave Troll, and I could defend for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I could use Khazad on Gimli, and you've got Boromir, and that is a total of 10 that you could swing for, which is enough to kill the Cave Troll, although then a goblin... Well, I guess you'd have to wait to kill the Cave Troll the following turn, because it would be at 1 HP if you defend a goblin swordsman with one of your spearmen. So I've kind of confused myself, but I think we're fine to just take 1 point of threat. Okay, so once again, we fail to quest successfully, but we're not at 37 threat, so the Goblin Scout remains in the staging area. Let's see, you are the first player, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much, but if you want, you could why don't I optionally engage the Goblin Swordsman just for fun?
Okay.
And you can take the Cave Troll.
Okay.
And now let's show off some Sentinel defenses.
All right.
So at the beginning of combat, we do first player, last player for shadow cards. For the Cave Troll, I will defend with a Winged Guardian here. So let me see. And you don't have a feint. So no shadow card, once again, just a location. And this is for each excess point of combat damage dealt beyond the remaining HP. You must damage another character you control. Let's see here. Beyond the remaining hit points. So I wonder if that refers to the defending player or the defending... Why don't I go ahead and...
I think it's me.
Pause the video and let's glance at our FAQ. Alright, so we're back, and I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of pulling up our FAQ, which is pretty explicit. It says, Section 1.52, the defending player, card effects, including shadow card effects that target the defending player, or you, as in our you control here, still target the player who the enemy is attacking, even if another player, me, declares one of his Sentinel characters as a defender for that attack. So in this case, Cave Troll says you must damage another character you control. If you want, you could damage Gimli and outright kill the Cave Troll, or wait till the next round. Let's see here. It is just going to be 1 damage, though, Matthew.
Oh, whoops. I was thinking he had 7, but that's his hit points.
Yeah, right. And the Winged Guardian defense, 6 minus 4 minus 1, so that's just the 1 point. Winged Guardian is destroyed, but just like sponging up Hill Troll damage, It's got a very meaty body with which to absorb impact. So this is one of the only times I've fought a cave troll, and it's going pretty well so far. Gimli is damaged. Now we've got to deal with my attack. I've got Goblin Swordsman staring me down. Anything you can do about that?
Not really. Have fun.
How about a different answer, if you don't mind, Matthew?
All right, Gondorian Spearman.
All right, fantastic. So after it's declared the defender, 1 damage to the attacking enemy, 2 damage equals 2 hit points. The Goblin Swordsman is destroyed. Its shadow card is discarded, unresolved. It would have been nothing, but this could be nasty seen during staging because it lets enemies like Cave Troll come and fight us. Okay, so that is that. How do you want to deal with your Cave Troll?
Well, I have 5 damage on the table at the moment. Gimli is 3 plus 1 from Dane, and the Gondorian Spearman makes it 5.
Oh.
I could ready Boromir to make it 8.
You know, when I was doing my math earlier, I forgot about Dane boosting the attack power of dwarves. It's been too long since we've recorded. Yeah. I've also got a Khazad in my hand, if this makes the math easier for you.
I believe that it does, because that makes Gimli 7. Gondorian Spearman makes it 8, which is only 4. So I think I have to ready Boromir, and then add his 3.
Okay, so that's going to be Gimli for 2 plus, well, Dane makes it 3. The damage makes it 4. Khazad makes it 7. Boromir makes it 10. Gondorian Spearman makes 11. Minus 4 is going to be 7. So I guess that Spearman's overkill. Doesn't matter. Cave Troll.
Yeah, it's fun.
Slain. Oh, it's actually a victory point enemy. Cool.
Yep.
So Control V, we now don't have to worry about that thing being revealed ever again. Khazad is going to be discarded. The shadow card is going to be discarded, and that is going to bring us to the end of the refresh phase, or to the refresh phase and the end of the round. So let's refresh. I will steal the first player token. I'll add resources and draw a card. I got a great little ally since we need to start questing. I guess I'm first player. I'll do a lore resource for Erebor Record Keeper. And I will still hold on to my scout. No reason to play Song of Battle yet. I've got my wizard, my sneak attack. I will pass. What are you going to do?
I don't think I'm going to do anything. I think I'm going to hold on to my resources.
Sure. You've certainly got the luxury of options, but there's no critical need to play anything quite yet.
Yeah.
Okay, for committing characters to the quest, this time I'm going to do 4 dwarves, Dane included, for a grand total of 8. Nice, easy math there. And looks like you're doing your standard 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic. Encounter card number 1 is going to be a copy of Goblin Swordsman, which takes a point of damage. Encounter card number 2 is going to be a copy of Goblin Archer. I'm glad that we didn't see this during setup. It takes 1 point of damage without even really needing to read its card text. It is just outright killed by Thalon, and this would have been a pain in the ass if it just sat there in the staging area as we revealed enemy after enemy after enemy, because I'm not fond of healing in the Khazad-dûm and Dwaradelf environment. It seems unnecessary. So that's dead. We're up against 6 threat. We're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 progress.
Yeah, what do you know?
Cool. Okay. Travel. No options.
No.
Engagement. We can't engage the Goblin Scout yet. Why don't I engage the Swordsman optionally? And do you want the Hornblower?
Sure.
Okay. Just because it's awfully weak. There are only 2 cards left in the encounter deck of 21 that can increase enemy attack.
Okay.
But it would be by 3.
Okay.
But it's also not too scary. Anyways, I guess if you ready Boromir, that'll just set us up next round to be able to grab the Goblin Scout, but it doesn't matter too much as we transition into combat. I'm first player, so shadow cards go like that. Matthew, can you help me with this enemy here?
You're so needy, but I suppose.
Well, I appreciate your humoring me, because no one else ever does. Goblin Swordsman is killed. Its shadow card would have replaced itself
Nice.
in the staging area. They're like rabbits, those things.
Yeah.
Orc Hornblower.
All right, I'm going to do Gondorian Spearman and hope he survives.
Okay, attacking enemy attacks again after this attack. Deal it another shadow card for the next attack. So that's kind of a pain, but I guess you've got Boromir, you've got a lot of options.
Yeah, that is true. I'll ready Boromir and then defend with him.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind boosting your threat, which you've now done, let's see. So a new shadow card for the second attack. That shadow card is nothing. It's another one of these nasty hidden threats. Boromir takes no damage.
Yep.
And now it's all you. Gimli can finish the fight.
Yep.
All right. So just like everyone's favorite Spartan, I guess. Fight is finished. Hornblower's gone. Shadow cards are discarded prior to the end of the round, and that is once again going to bring us to refresh.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, refresh. You're the first player, resource phase. Hey, looks like I finally got an ally. But what are you playing?
I will pay 2 for a dwarf just because, hey, it's a dwarf.
Great.
Again, I feel like I'm in the same boat as last time, in which I've got lots of options, lots of things I could pay for. I don't feel like I need to lower my threat yet, though I certainly could. So I'm just going to hold on to my resources until I have a better idea of what we'll be up against in the future.
I guess the only thing you could maybe do is unexpected courage for card draw, but even that isn't critical.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of in the driver's seat here, so
Yeah.
I'd rather save the resources for Galadrim's greeting in case I've got to abuse Boromir.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so for me, I will do 1-2 off of Thalon. I will drop down a Gondorian Spearman.
Very nice.
And I think I'll just call it good there. So,
Okay.
committing characters to the quest, same deal as last time. I'm sending 8.
Okay.
You make it 11. All right, encounter card number 1 is going to be another Goblin Archer.
Hey.
Encounter card number 2 is going to be another Goblin
Looky there.
Scout. So it takes a
Thank you, Thalon.
point of damage. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quest progress. For travel, there's nothing. For engagement, it looks like both of these are going to come down to you, since you're at 37. Let's see. For shadow cards, we can do it like that.
Yeah. And Gondorian Spearman.
Sure. It doesn't even matter who does the defending. Plenty of different options here. They both take a point of damage, regardless of what character defends. Their shadow cards, hey! Oh, sorry, the art was so similar in color, I thought they were identical. But Goblin Tunnels is one of those boost-up attack value cards, and Spearman, of course, would have been another enemy to deal with. So I think you mentioned something about the driver's seat earlier, Matthew. That feels pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
I guess, let's
We are
see.
just slaying orcs on our way to find Balin.
Yeah, what is this? If attached hero is exhausted at the end of the combat phase. Yeah, so I can't cheese Beravor to do, like, you know, prior to the refresh phase, because you have to ready your characters, then you have the action window. I can't cheat, you know, card draw.
Right.
Okay, anyway, so refresh. I'm first player. I'll draw a card. Do my resources. Okay. For playing stuff, I don't really have any good options, so I will just pass to you.
I'm in the same boat. I drew a duplicate.
Unless you want to do that unexpected courage thing, like I'll exhaust Beravor now, so that I can maybe play allies if you're going to be playing Unexpected Courage?
I suppose.
Okay. So,
although technically my planning would be after yours, so
right.
you wouldn't be able to play anything, but yeah.
Well, I guess here's what I'm trying to say. So I'll exhaust Barivore now. I'll draw 2 cards. I did not end up getting anything worth playing specifically. Now we go to your planning. You play Unexpected Courage, and now I can use it to ready Barivore.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, anything else for your planning?
Nah.
Okay. So I guess that's that. Committing characters to the quest. Same old, same old. I will send my 8.
I'll send my 3.
I guess, do you want to send Veteran Axe Hand?
Nah. We're probably going to progress to the next one.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
round.
That is very true.
So, yeah.
Yep. In fact, I think it's impossible for us not to. So let's see what we pull. Encounter card number 1 is Goblin Spearman, takes a point of damage. Encounter card number 2 is Goblin Scout.
All right.
So 5 threat means we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 progress. We're sitting at 16 out of 15. We're going to transition to quest card 2A. This says you have discovered the chamber. Before you lies the resting place of Balin, last lord of Moria. The final portion of the book tells the grim tale. Balin was slain in the Dimril Dale, and the dwarves were then trapped in the mines. It seems as if there are no survivors. You stand silently by his tomb, but cannot tarry. Orc war cries and horns sound close. You leave the cumbersome book as a testament to the dwarves' valor, and prepare to fight your way out, lest Balin's fate becomes your own. So, we flip that, we remove Book of Mazarbul from the game. I guess I'll just add it to our victory display for simplicity's sake. Forced, at the end of the staging step, reveal the top X cards of the encounter deck, adding all enemies to the staging area, but they're revealed and added. Discard the other revealed cards without resolving them. X is the number of players. So we're potentially going to be revealing up to 4 enemies per round, but we've got Spearman aplenty, plus Sneak Attack, plus Longbeard Org Slayer is a thing. Okay, 17 quest points. If we defeat this stage, we win the game. There's once again no travel in this location light encounter deck. I think there are only like 6 or something. For engagement, I guess, how does that look?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, understatement of the century right there. So I will defend with the Spearman. It takes a point of damage. The Spearman kills Spearman. I feel like that counts as a hate crime. How do you want to deal with your Scout?
I'll pick the one on the right.
All right, so Goblin Scout once again skewers itself. Looks like these are very slow learners. The Scout itself is killed.
Those Moria orcs aren't as smart as their Mordor brethren.
I guess not. So let's refresh. You're the first player. Let's do our resource phase. I got a little bit of card draw. What are you doing?
I will play a dwarf for some extra willpower.
Beautiful.
And I could just spam the board with eagles. I just don't know if it's necessary. So, again, kind of holding off with Gandalf, maybe in case he becomes necessary, though I highly doubt it. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it as is.
Alrighty. I don't think there's any reason to, attempt to clear the scenario this round. No reason to do anything too dramatic. I'll exhaust Barivore to draw a couple cards, just on the off chance I got some Erebor record keepers. Okay, now things actually get pretty interesting because I drew Faramir, and you've got a lot of allies, but then again, I've also kind of got a lot of characters. I guess I'll use Unexpected Courage. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 to put Faramir into play. I'll do 1. Well, maybe I won't. Okay, let me see. If I were to spend all of my resources, I could do Veteran Axe Hand, which is an additional 1 ally. I could do Snowborn Scout, which is 2 allies. I could do Gandalf, which That's getting to be a lot of willpower. Let me just put these on the table to make my math easier. Okay, so Veteran Axe Hand, and then I could also do Guild or Gleowine. So let's say, theoretically, I could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 willpower myself. You could send all of your characters, and you could do a ton of willpower. I feel like we could probably finish the scenario this round.
Let's go for broke.
Sure. Okay, so it's... sorry, I guess it's your planning. Did you pass?
So, I don't know if I officially did. Technically, knowing you have Faramir, I could spam a bunch of eagles.
Right.
And that would give us a ton. Although I don't know that that's necessary. So let's just leave it as is, because I probably did pass. I don't remember. But I would not have played them unless I knew you had Faramir. So I feel like it's kind of retconning. So let's keep it semi-honest.
Sure.
And maybe a smidge more interesting.
Sure.
And yeah, I've passed to you.
All right, so you have passed. I will go ahead and do 1 resource for Snowborn Scout. I'll do 2 resources for Veteran Axe Hand. I'll do 2 resources for Gleowine. And I suppose I'll just call it good there. I've got a couple different options here. I could either do Gandalf, sneak attacked in, or I could just do the Longbeard Orc Slayer, and it wouldn't be committed to the quest or benefiting from Faramir, but it would...
I say Gandalf. We need 1 clip per video at least.
That is true. Actually, I'm going to withhold my Snowborn Scout in favor of, apparently I've got, I've got Durin's Song in hand.
That'd be fun.
1 better. Okay, so apologies to you, dear viewers, but I think that's good. So, questing.
I am sending a whopping 6. I have doubled my total.
That is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 resource for a sneak attack.
Enough! I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me.
And of course, as if there were any other option, I will pick everyone's homeboy. Gandalf drops onto the table for his effect. Let's see, do I want to draw cards?
You know we care about score. You might want to lower your threat.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to draw cards. I didn't end up getting anything worth getting, which is too bad.
Yeah.
But I don't think any way that we can fail the quest at this point.
Well, we've said that before, so that's the only reason I'm holding Gimli back, just in case something goes awry.
I didn't even notice that you're holding Gimli back.
Yeah, I don't know the encounter deck probably as well as you. I don't know if there are any immediate attacks
there's
or
not.
Those kinds of things.
Don't be a sissy.
You know me, I'm the conservative player.
Just send Gimli.
No, you have so many people on your side.
Him.
Oh my god. Fine, I'll add 3 more.
Spearman, thank you so much.
All right, fine. I'm sending 3.
Okay.
And you're right, Boromir can ready himself, and I do need to remember that.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I should remember that also. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2... let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, and I won't use Faramir quite yet. So let's see just what we pull. So at the end of staging, we're going to reveal some additional cards. But for the time being, encounter card number 1 is a location, Doomed 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, about that not being able to lose the game thing. Encounter card number 2 is going to be a Goblin Swordsman.
Not too shabby.
Okay, so at the end of staging, let's reveal 2 additional cards. Encounter card number 1 is going to be Goblin Spearman. And the way that this works is Thalin is still considered to be committed to the quest. An enemy is being revealed and added from the encounter deck to the staging area, so it still takes a point of damage. In our journey along the Anduin video, I did not remember that rule, and we didn't play that card correctly. So this Spearman takes a point of damage.
Cool.
Our second added card is going to be another copy of the Spearman.
Okay.
So it looks like it was a better idea to play Gandalf versus playing the Longbeard Orc Slayer. We're up against 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 threat, but let's see what I can do. I'll do 1 resource for Durin's Song to add 2 additional points to Gimli, and then I'll use Faramir to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to my total. So I'm doing 22 willpower, and what are you sending?
11.
Okay, so that makes 33 minus 7 is going to be, 27? No, sorry, 26. Once there's all the pressure on the line, math like that gets surprisingly hard, my dear viewers.
Yeah, 33 minus 7 is what we're doing.
Yep. Minus 3, minus 4 makes 26 out of 17. Yep. So, at the present moment, it looks like we've got all of our progress tokens, and we have beaten the quest. If we had to, we could have traveled to the upper hall, we could have skewered 2 of these enemies with spearmen, and it really would not have been that big of a deal. So, Matthew, we've managed to... I'm not going to use the T word. We've managed to best yet another scenario. So, what are your thoughts on the 7th level, my friend?
These were simpler days. But even with decks of the period, I mean, we really stomped it. It was not a challenge. Certainly, if Thalon wasn't included, the difficulty of this quest probably goes up a couple of notches, where you're now having to defend quite a few more enemy attacks and those kinds of things. But Thalon really does have a place in quite a few quests. I'm sure we will see him again in future quests in the Heirs of Numenor, box in the attached cycle. There's some annoying bats and things that he takes good care of. But it's the same thing here. So with that said, I mean, with 2 quest cards, neither of which are very interesting. I mean, I guess we got maximum effect here on quest card 2B because we did reveal 2 enemies. But it doesn't really matter. If you can throw a bunch of willpower at the table, this quest doesn't require you to kill those enemies, which we could have done very easily, and then we would have won after combat instead of right now. So, not a quest that I would replay often in normal mode. I don't believe I've played the Nightmare version of this quest, but I can only imagine that it probably neuters Thalon and gives them all 3 hit points or something.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, totally an unmemorable quest as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so unfortunately it was a bit of a pushover. The progression series has received some criticism in the past for deck building to beat certain scenarios. Worst case scenario is, let's say these swordsmen, these spearmen, all of these goblins replace one another. Even if you'd have been engaged with 20 or so enemies, even if Thalon had not damaged them, you could have just discarded Boromir to clear the board, and then I could have quested to victory. Even though we didn't have that much questing ability right off the bat, we failed the quest a couple times. We dealt with the one big nasty the encounter deck threw our way, and then this quest was a bit of a joke. I never really used Dane, I never really used Barivore, and in the end, we didn't go the Untroubled by Darkness route, which I believe was included in your deck, 2 copies thereof.
Never drew it.
Yeah. But it wasn't necessary. Those.
I mean, the Watchful Eyes, starting off with them fairly quickly, that did neuter 2 heroes, but since Dane's a hero you want to have readied anyway, doesn't really matter. Boromir would have been a decent candidate for it, because I had Gandalf and some Galadrim's greetings, so I could have always just raised my threat to have him ready before the end of combat, and never have had that go off. So in hindsight, maybe he would have been a better option. But I was never first player, you know what I mean? So we could never have chosen him, but had I gotten it, he probably would have been who I put it on. So I don't think the encounter deck took it easy on us. Cave Troll, 2 Watchful Eyes, getting 2 enemies this time. It's just that the treacheries can be worked around, and the enemies are pretty puny with Thalon and Gondorian Spearmen. So I don't want to say we had an easy time here in terms of what this encounter deck can do. it's a bad encounter deck. It's just not a particularly exciting quest.
Yeah, it's got some interesting things going on. The problem is they're very easy to work around.
Yeah.
And all in all, it makes for not the most thrilling experience in the world. So we've cleared this one. Someday we'll approach it again, nightmare mode, and hopefully, like you were saying, it is a little bit more interesting. But Matthew, why don't we go ahead and close out this video? Next time, we're going to be playing Flight from Moria, which will conclude our coverage of our very first deluxe expansion. But if listeners want to hear more of what you've got to say, where can they keep listening to you?
Well, I doubt that many do, but should they have an inclination to hear more of my thoughts about the LOTR LCG, I would love it if you would check out the podcast that I happen to be a host of. It is the Gray Company Podcast, where you can join my co-host Dan, Derek, and Ian, and I for an in-depth look at the Lord of the Rings LCG, where we focus on strategy, deck building, and the metagame. We are the Gray Company Podcast.
Well, I always say it, but it remains true. It certainly comes highly recommended. If for any reason whatsoever you want to get in touch with me, I remain the Hive Tyrant on Facebook and on Twitter. If you'd like to support the ongoing LOTR LCG progression series, I'm on Patreon as well. But once again, thank you very much for checking out another entry in this harrowing series. Next, we're going to be closing our coverage of Khazad-dûm, so until then, take care, have a good one, and enjoy your adventures in Middle-earth.